Hey, what is up YouTube? This is the Merman Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel with another video. Today's video is going to be a discussion of Venoms in 2019, and this is coming up to the deck profile that I think I'm going to be doing very, very soon on this deck. Basically, I decided that I wanted to have it be kind of like a Thelonius Viper type of deck, and what I mean by that, I guess, is, keeping in line with the, the types of cards that the character from the show would run, while at the same time updating the deck for a modern 2019 era. And I think I found two cards that allow me to do that in very, very good order. And it's been so exciting for me to not only build the deck again after getting the cards at the most recent sneak peek, but to have a deck that is actually extraordinarily fun to play and fairly consistent, assuming that you get the plays off correctly. Now, there are two cards that make this deck what it is, and there's a couple of different ways that I did the strategy. First and foremost card that I want to discuss is Card of Demise. Now, if you guys have watched my Earthbound Immortal deck profile, you should probably be aware that I do really like Card of Demise, and it's quickly becoming one of my most favorite cards due to the fact that it can update these really, really old, slower decks and help them compete. Now, Venoms, as you guys know, only have four main deck monsters. I believe the only main deck monsters that Venoms have are one copy of, or they have a Venom Serpent, Venom Snake, Venom Boa, and Venom Cobra. Venom Cobra is a 2000 defense, 100 attack normal monster. Venom Serpent is an 1000 attack dark reptile monster, level 4. Venom Snake is level 3, 1200, and then Venom Boa is level 5 with 1600. And they're meant to be able to work together with Venom Swamp, which is kind of how I had the deck constructed before. Like, if you go onto the previous deck profiles, you'll see Venom deck profiles that have like all of the Venom spells and traps, things like Ambush Fangs and other stuff like that in there. But I decided to go a complete different route with this, and Card of Demise was really the thing that helped me to do that. I came to the realization, Venoms don't really have that many main deck monsters, and one of the monsters, Cobra, is a level 5 that has no real way to get it out. The only thing that you could have possibly transmodified for the card to get Venom Cobra out on, or not Venom Cobra, Venom Boa out on your field was the level 4 monster, but that monster's a dark while the rest of them are earths. So it really just doesn't make any sense, and the design philosophy is incredibly flawed. So I realized, cutting down the numbers of Boa from 3 to 1 severely limits the number of bricky hands that I had, where I was drawing like multiple Boas, and I barely ever draw Boa, if ever, in a hand. Not only that, but completely taking out Cobra from the list, because Cobra is just a normal monster, and the Venoms or whatever, and it works together with the Venom spells and traps. But if things like Ambush Fangs and Venom Burn and some Venom Shot and other things like that are not really as consistent in 2019, you're not really focusing too hard on those particular cards. Like, you want to make the plays that Thelonius Viper makes, and he actually didn't even run Venom Burn, I believe. Or Ambush Fangs, but they were just like extra cards that were released as kind of like give-me's for the archetype. A lot of cool spell and trap support, but some of it is not really as necessary in the deck, because you want to be building Venom counters and not really removing the counters. But the other aspect of that is that when you cut down that number of Venoms, rather than having like 12 or 15 cards, when you count in the other snakes, you end up with a rather than having like a 20 card deck, you end up with a much lower level of cards. And those cards are like, it's only like a 10 card deck, so to speak. So basically what you end up working with is 10, 11, 12, maybe at most 13 or 14 main deck monsters. Most of the snakes are, their own kind of thing. So that makes Card of Demise a really, really good option, because you've cut down on your number of Cobras and Boas. Not only that, but none of the snakes have special summon abilities, so you don't even care about special summoning any of the snakes on board. You just have their effects, and you just let them get off and, activate their abilities. But at the end of the day, you don't really care too much whether the snake is normal summon or not, because like the Venom Swamp aspect is a big part of it, but the even bigger part and your end goal is to get a boosted up Venomanaga onto the field. The way you get boosted up Venomanaga onto the field is by using Snake Rain. That's one of your key play cards right there, and Snake Rain is going to be probably banned or limited in like a couple of years if a really, really good reptile deck comes out. But for now, I'm really happy to be able to run the card at 3, and the way that you basically do it is you discard any card from your hand to the graveyard and send 4 reptiles to the graveyard. So unused spells or traps or monsters, if you draw the Cobra or you draw the Phenomenon and you can't get it out of your hand in any other way, you just send it to the grave with Snake Rain and load your grave with 4 more reptiles. And that has the extra added benefit of basically just removing the very few reptiles you do have into the deck to the graveyard, making Card of Demise that much more live if and when you do draw it. So really, really amazing card. The other card that I found out, and this was through extensive testing, and it just sort of came to me while I was playing the deck yesterday, was Lilith, Lady of Lament. And I feel like this card, one of the big problems is like Phenomenon is it's like you have to have a lot of things right for Phenomenon to happen, and like I've tried to construct the deck in a way that makes it the most possible. You need to have snakes in your graveyard. You need to have a way to get Phenomenon to the field, a way to destroy Phenomenon while it exists on the field, and then you have to have Rise of the Snake Deity set to activate and not be in like a crazy chain where Phenomenon is getting destroyed, so that you can, because it will miss the timing, so that you can get Phenomenaga out on the field. And you also have to count on not drawing it and not sending it to the graveyard by any way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of moving parts in that, and the deck, is constructed to basically allow the least number of parts to like be moving around. And one of the things that you really want to do with that deck is to have Phenomenon on the field so that you have the chance to destroy it. And Lilith, Lady of Lament comes into that by getting you some of the spells and traps that you need. And I had to actually cut down a card called Viper's Rebirth in order to place Lilith, Lady of Lament in there, which, it was not a bad cut, but I've been slowly finding that Lilith is actually a fantastic card for the deck, and I feel fits kind of within the edgy, gritty characteristic that Viper and the general GX, I guess, aspect fits into. It's very like edgy, like teenage, like kind of monsters, and it fits into that aspect. And so Lilith is actually really, really good because she's technically a 2,000 attack monster when she's special summoned, but goes down to 1,000 when she's normal summoned. So she has extreme synergy with like your Monster Reborns and like some of your other stuff to be able to get her out onto the field relatively quickly. And she allows you to pick any 3 normal trap cards from your deck, including trap cards of the same name, and set one of them to the field at random. So, you're running triplicates of almost every of the Venom-related trap cards, such as Offering to the Snake Deity, as well as Rise of the Snake Deity. So whichever one you end up missing, I guess, you can use. I also decided to take out a couple more cards Venom-related, so I can throw in 2 Torrential Tributes, yet another normal trap that can be pulled off of that card as an extra way to provide some on-field destruction if you don't have a Venom monster on the board, as well as a way to destroy Phenomenaga, or a way to destroy Phenomenon, so that you can trigger Rise of the Snake Deity. And I found Lilith, Lady of Lament to be extremely, extremely helpful, and sort of goes along my idea of cards that are very minimally invasive to the strategy as a whole. Lilith is not, one of the main deck monsters that stays on the field for a long, long time. She's there, and then suddenly she's gone and replaced by a Venom spell or trap. And what that does is it eliminates kind of like, pulling your opponent, if you're running like a character duel, and pulling them out of the experience, eliminating like, by saying like, it's like they run a Cyber Dragon or whatever. So it eliminates the opportunity to pull them out of the experience, while at the same time allowing you to set up your back row when you normally would not be able to. And I usually prefer that card as my normal summon, and then find other ways to like really ditch your snakes to the graveyard. Because your main strategy is Venomanaga or bust, but Venom Swamp and all the other stuff also put in a ton of work and still treat it as a Venom deck, even though you're not running every single Venom spell and trap inside the deck. So I guess in conclusion, guys, like the Viper deck can work incredibly well thanks to these two cards, and they just make the deck an absolute blast to play. Like, a lot of people just get so pissed and so, they're like, when is Venom's going to be good? And I think that thanks to these cards, and thanks to the power of, those cards, as well as the way that the archetypes was constructed, it was kind of like a perfect storm where everything just went right in that particular deck in order to create it. And it's been an absolute blast to play, guys. And I've tried to add Thelonius Viper for a very, very long time into character decks that I pilot, and to finally say that I think I have a pretty definitive build of where to take him is just phenomenal. And I'm so excited to be able to show you guys this build when I have finally picked up all the cards and have gotten the deck constructed to a point where I feel like it's worth showing off. But guys, I wanted to thank you for listening to my long ramble/rant here, and hope you, I guess, enjoyed it or were able to get something out of it. If you did like this video, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.